live from Bristol, Tennessee, at the historic last Coliseum of Bristol Motor Speedway. We bring to you round number 6 of the Elite Seniors Racing Championship, presented by RaceMRL.com. I'm your host, Tim Dayton, not joined tonight by AJ Vassar. We'll be totally alone in the booth here tonight. Maybe we'll have Scott Tice or somebody jump in, depending on what happens during tonight's broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in here tonight. We have currently 15 cars on the property for tonight's feature event. Ready to go, lined up, as we will take it down trackside to Simon Adams for tonight's national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Big thank you to Kyle Adams and the rest of the Adams family for tonight's national anthem. And thank you all for tuning in. We're going to take a quick look here at practice here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Speaking of Kyle Adams, out of Beloit, Wisconsin. The RaceMRL.com. Misfit Productions, number 9 machine. It is Kyle Adams himself in the flesh for tonight's event right here on DRN. As while we have a moment, let's take a quick look at our upcoming events here on the docket for the DRN and Martinsville Speedway, August 12th. This coming Wednesday night, 100 laps on tap for that feature event. Should be a good one at the Martinsville Speedway, always is. Then the Lucas Oil Speedway brings to you the DRN. We'll take a look at some of the cars here. On track. Got Tice back this week after a 10 for some Monday night dirt racing action. Of course, like I said, 16 cars at the moment on the docket. Sean McLean being one of them in the number 22 machine. Brand new, beautiful paint scheme designed by Quinn McLean, his brother. Nice to see that beautiful paint scheme. We'll definitely see that a couple times tonight, hopefully. Had a decent run last week ran into some issues during that race. In the Mac Daddy Barbecue 21 race graphics, J-Max Beach Shop, Smoke Train Racing. Number 22, it is Sean McLean out of Baxter, Minnesota. And his brother also on the racetrack. In the 21 race graphics, J-Max Beach Shop, Smoke Train Racing, number 21, out of Chanhassen, Minnesota. It is Quinn McLean. And also a big welcome back to this driver. Gary Offit in the number 94 machine. Bringing this number 94 back out on the racetrack. Nice to see you all here tonight. Thank you all for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of our 35-lap feature, the Bristol Dirt Nationals, as the 87 A&J Creations, Patton's Triple X Tire Giant, A&J Creations, Checker Flag RC Track, Tipsy Tim's Distillery number 87, for the General himself, Andy Patton, out of Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. And pulling down pit road is Rob Cassidy there. 4 minutes left in practice. As we get a nice battle here in practice between Quinn McLean, Gary Offit, and Sean McLean. As currently top time on the board, 15.828. 15.828 for Keith Kincaid here in practice. Currently sits second with a 15.850, Greg Parmalee. Scott Tice clocks in position number 3, 15.861. Chris Reinald, 15.907 for that fourth spot. As Sean McLean getting back up to speed here on the raceway. Is Brett McCoy also out here tonight? Currently 15th quickest, 16.165 for Brett McCoy. I know Billy McCoy's probably here watching the stream tonight. Thank you for popping in and having a good time with us and spending your evening with us here on the DRN. Like I said, 16 cars total on the property here at the Bristol Motor Speedway tonight. A good, decent field of cars for what it is here at the Bristol Dirt National, presented by RaceMRL.com. As your Retro Night Paint Scheme Award winner was Chris Reinald, got $10 from TDR Media. Or, well, courtesy of TDR Media. $10 to the best looking retro paint scheme. Finished second on Wednesday night. So congratulations to him for a solid finish. Finishing just behind Keith Kincaid. Two minutes left in practice. Going to take a look at somebody we rarely take a look at here. Chris Hall in the Western Auto 007 machine. I don't believe we have him on the forum on our notes for tonight's event. Pretty sure he has filled out a form. Out of Bassier, Kansas, in the Checkered Flag Raceway KH Racing 007 machine, that would be Chris Hall. Sorry about that, Chris. I'll get that fixed for the next race on Wednesday night. But for now, 2 cars still on the raceway. As we will take a short break right here on the DRN. Don't go anywhere. As we are back right here on the DRN, going to take a look at some qualifying for tonight's feature. Andy Patton in the 87 machine. First out on the raceway. Going to clock in position number 1 for now, 15.887 for his first time lap. Quinn McLean just behind, 15.997. Will he improve this time by? No, he will not. Patton ran a 15.904. Sean McLean ran a 15.855 to put him position number 3 at the moment. Brett McCoy looks for his second time. Actually, I believe that was his qualifying. Going to clock in at position number 7 for the moment. Kyle Adams out for his first of 2 laps here on the racetrack for this man. Looking to do one better. Currently position number 14 on the board. New pole sitter here tonight, 15.719. 15.719 for Rocky Top. Keith Kincaid to the pole goes Keith. As Reinald comes across the line. 16th quick, 16.415 for the 71 machine. And over the line, not going to better it. Actually, he will better it, but still 16th quick, 16.346. for Chris Reinald. While we have the moment, let's get a few of our weekly ad reads out. This event is, of course, always proudly sponsored by Ruck Offshore. Ruck Offshore is a veteran owned brand built for those who live life on the water, inspired by the discipline and resilience of offshore anglers. We create high performance apparel and gear designed for durability, comfort, and functionality in the toughest conditions, while actively supporting marine conservation to help protect the oceans that fuel our lifestyle. Ruck Offshore's apparel lineup of lightweight performance shirts, hats, and sun protective gear also fits perfectly into the racing world, giving drivers and crews breathable comfort for long, hot days at the racetrack. Visit www.ruckoffshore.com for more information. Also presented to you by Checkered Flag RC Raceway. Checkered Flag RC Raceway will be bringing you action all summer long for season 23. Not only will we have our normal racing schedule from May through October, but we'll also have our Kansas Dirt Oval Championships, Racing for a Reason benefit race, and our Halloween Havoc event. Our track is totally geared around a family atmosphere. We strive for a no-stress, fun-filled day of racing. Located 1 mile from the Kansas Speedway, we would love to have you join us. Check us out on Facebook at YouTube, www.youtube.com/CFRaceway. And with that, we will go through tonight's Heat Race number 1 starting lineup, presented by RaceMRL.com. Starting on the pole, here tonight, in the K2 Motorsports Fleming Hot Cheetos ESRC Elite Seniors Racing Championship, number 17, out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Rocky Top, Keith Kincaid. Starting on his outside, in the K2 Motorsports Tipsy Tim's Pet AAA Rob's Cows Young Gun Creations, number 04 for Greg Slackamo Parmalee. Row number 2 brings you the General, Andy Patton, alongside Scott Tice. Row number 3 brings you Russ Harold and Kyle Adams. And row number 4, Rob Cassidy and Chris Hall. Once again, thank you for joining us here for tonight's feature event. We are here for Heat Race number 1 of the night. Getting ready to go live right here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway on a beautiful night of racing action. 8 cars ready for tonight's Heat Race number 1 at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Greg Parmalee, Keith Kincaid on the front row, Andy Patton and Scott Tice row number 2, as they will bring you to tonight's first green flag of the evening. Green flag in the air for Heat Race number 1, as Keith Kincaid out to a strong lead. Parmalee, Scott Tice, and Andy Patton battles for that second spot on the raceway. All 8 cars make the feature. All 16 cars will make the feature for tonight's feature event. Great battle for the third spot here between Scott Tice and Andy Patton at the moment. Oh, some trouble further in the back. And it looks like it will bring out our first caution of tonight's event, as we're going to take a look back at the Artie Ranch replay. Looks like Rob Cassidy just lost it a little bit there, and maybe Chris Hall had nowhere to go? Not too sure. Definitely interesting. Maybe something else happened here that I'm not aware of. Yeah, I don't know. Just an unfortunate incident for those two guys getting taken out like that. And yeah, that brings out your first caution of tonight's feature event. Because I'm trying to see what happened there. I don't. It didn't say anything happened really, to be honest. Who knows? To be honest, that was a interesting little wreck that happened here. Yeah, I've never seen that happen before. Um, just maybe brought it. We had a lot of phantom cautions last week, so I mean, you never really know with these guys. It'll continue all race long. We'll just have to see what goes on. And while I have a moment, visit www.racemrl.com/merch. Get all your Misfit Racing League merchandise, as well as ESRC merchandise as well. Shirts, hats, t-shirts. Said shirts and hats twice, but just a little excited here tonight, folks. That is www.racemrl.com/merch for more information. Go get your shirts, hats. Personally, I'm going to get the MRL rope cap. Matches the ESRC logo. A little orange. Very nice. As also, while you're on the page, check out the Elite Seniors Racing Championship tab of the leagues for their RaceMRL.com league partnership program on how to join this league and how to be a part of the racing action. We're going to go on board with the restart once again. Green flag back in the air. As Scott Tyson, Greg Parmalee going at it here. Keith Kincaid pulls out to a heavy lead here. Looks like trouble for Chris Hall and Andy Patton in the back. Two cars getting into it as Kincaid comes up to them. And the caution is out once again for those two drivers. Let's take a quick look. Ooh. Ooh. Russ Harold had nowhere to go. Just unfortunate for those two drivers. Oh, and just getting into it as well. Not sure why our RD Ranch replay screen is not working here tonight. We'll fix that between heat races here and get it going. Sorry about that, folks. Had the stream cut off a little bit on there while we were trying to sort out the replay. That pace truck about to dive down pit. Actually, no, we have one more lap under caution. Here, let's take another look at that replay. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll let him go green here. 4 cars left on the raceway. Chris Hall and Andy Patton rejoining the field. Sorry, Chris Hall rejoins the field towards the tail end, along with Russ Harold. Once again, we thank you all for tuning in to tonight's broadcast, right here live on the DRN. Happy to have you all. As Bob Cassidy and Andy Patton leave the pit lane right now. They join the field once again. Green flag back in the air. 5 laps to go in heat race number 2. Or I'm sorry, heat race number 1. Scott Tyson, Greg Parmalee battle it out for that second spot is now Kyle Adams and Scott Tice side by side. Coming to 4 laps to go. As Kyle Adams looks to cross over on the bottom for the third position. As they get into it, Kyle Adams loses a ton of ground on the number 24 machine because they've got into it a lot during the season. Right here on the DRN. You can look back at that if you would like. As Kincaid out to a solid 5/10 lead here in the late going of this heat race number 1. 2 laps to go here in heat race. The first of 2 with 16 cars on the property. Coming to the white flag for heat race number 1. As Scott Tice has claimed that third position. Keith Kincaid, Parmalee, Tice, Kyle Adams, Chris Hall, Andy Patton, Russ Harold, and Rob Cassidy round out heat race number 1 for tonight's feature. There's a solid race here for those two guys. It's a little lighter out for heat race number 2. As we will take a quick look at your starting lineup for heat race number 2. Starting at row number 1. In the Rocky Ridge Laborers Tunnel to Towers, Gov XID 988 Veterans Crisis Hotline, Rocky Ridge Vineyard, number 88. Out of Fort Ripley, Minnesota, David Brill. Starting directly to his outside. In the Mac Daddy Barbecue 21 Race Graphics, J-Mac Speed Shop Smoke Train Racing, number 22, out of Baxter, Minnesota. It is Sean McLean. In the Dungeon of Speed Simdan, number 31, out of Chilhowie, Virginia, Chris Farmer. Brett McCoy. In the Finnegan's RV Nielsen Racing Left-Hander Chassis, Ratco Brakes, All Car Automotive, number 1, out of Poplar Grove, Illinois. It is Brett McCoy. In the 21 Race Graphics J-Max Speed Shop Smoke Train Racing, number 21, out of Chanhassen, Minnesota. It is Quinn McLean. In the Checkered Flag Raceway Tipsy Tim's Checkered Flag Cafe, Patton Triple X Moza by Tice Slackamo Racing, number 40, TDR Media, number 45, out of Bonner Springs, Kansas, for Tim McDowell, Gary Uffman in the 94, and then in the 71 machine, out of the Glen Stires Racing Oswego Speedway, G-Force TV, Ed Carley Motorsports Victory Lane Sim Racing, number 71, for Chris Reinald. As we are green here for heat race number 2 on the raceway. David Brill out to an early lead here, 9 laps to go. 1 lap down, 9 more on the board. As Chris Farmer in position number 2, but we have battle for position number 3 between Brett McCoy and Sean McLean, door to door in a 3 and 4 for that third spot. Sean McLean showed some promise on Monday night. I don't believe he raced with us on Wednesday night. I have to look back. But Sean McLean being hounded by his brother here in the 21 machine of Quinn McLean. Great shot of both those cars, the 22 and the 21. As David Brill out for a Sunday drive, 0.6 of a second ahead of your second place car of Chris Farmer. Extends it to 7/10 down the straightaway. Or I'm sorry, 6.9 tenths down the straight. Sean McLean passed by Brett McCoy for that third spot, as Quinn McLean and Gary Offutt fight for the 5th position. Chris Reinald way out ahead of Tim McDowell, both 2 seconds back from the leader. As we have a battle once again for that 3rd position. No, actually we have a battle for 4th. Quinn McLean and Sean McLean. Quinn goes to the outside to try and get a run off the corner. Not going to happen, as Chris Farmer catches up a little bit to David Brill, 0.4 of a second. 2 laps to go. Coming to the white flag this time by for David Brill. But Brill messes up coming off of turn number 2. That gives the advantage to Chris Farmer. Not going to happen. Checkered flag. David Brill, heat race number 2 winner here at Bristol. Chris Farmer in 2nd, Brett McCoy 3rd, Sean McLean P4, Quinn McLean for 5, Gary Offutt for 6, Chris Reinald 7, and Tim McDowell rounding out heat race number 2 in 8th. A nighttime show here for tonight's feature event. We will take you to commercial right here on the DRN. We'll be right back. Stay tuned right here on the DRN.
Team Holloway Racing Graphics is your one-stop vinyl shop. We specialize in RC racing of all scales. We do full-size race cars as well. Have a sign that needs done, vehicles lettered, we can do it. PT Speed Shop. We rebuild quarter-scale motors, break them in, dyno them, and get you back to victory lane. We have a parts store opening soon. Check it out at ptspeedshop.com. Check us out at teamholloway.com. We would love to take care of your vinyl needs.
Big thank you to all the sponsors of the Elite Seniors Racing Championship. Had to throw that 918 custom designs went in there totally by accident. Didn't realize it was a queue for commercials here tonight. But it happens. Oh, Keith Kincaid and looks like Greg Parmalee in it. Currently first on the board, 15.748 to a 15.900 for Greg Parmalee there. Only 14 cars taken time so far. 2 cars haven't gone out on the racetrack just yet. As it should be a fun night of racing action right here on the DRN. Of course, we got Martinsville coming up this Wednesday night. Make sure you tune in to the DRN for that race. We had a lot of cars on this past Wednesday night if you haven't seen it. For our retro night at Hickory. So I've been told there will be another one sometime this season. Possibly. They're still working out the details for the Seniors Racing Championship. Yeah. Would love to see something like that happen again. A huge slider from Gary Alford on Sean McLean going into 3 and 4. Is Tim McDowell and Chris Hall the only two cars no longer on the racetrack? Not sure if they're no longer in the session or what have you. But they have not taken a time here for tonight's feature. Or I'm sorry, for tonight's warm-up here. As warm-ups have ended, we're going to take a quick look at your starting lineup. Tonight's starting lineup, of course, brought to you by RaceMRL.com. Starting on the front row, in the Flaming Hot Cheetos K2 Motorsports Elite Seniors Racing Championship number 17 for Keith Rocky Top Kincaid out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Alongside, in the Rocky Ridge Laborers Tunnel to Towers 988 Veterans Crisis Hotline, Rocky Ridge Vineyard number 88 machine out of Fort Ripley, Minnesota, it is David Brill. Row number 2, Slackamo, Greg Parmalee. In the K2 Motorsports Tipsy Tim's Patent Belay Rob's Cows Young Gun Creations number 04, alongside Chris Farmer. Row number 3 brings you Scott Tice, alongside the left-hander chassis. Rapco Brakes number 1 of Brett McCoy. Row number 4 brings you Kyle Adams in the RaceMRL.com Misfit Productions number 9, alongside Sean McLean and the 21 Race Graphics J-Max number 22. Row number 5, Chris Hall and Quinn McLean, Sean McLean's brother. Row number 6 brings you Andy Patton and Gary Offut. Row number 7, Russ Herold and Chris Reinald. Row number 8, the final row, Rob Cassidy and Tim McDowell. That will round out tonight's field. As coming to the green flag. Green flag in the air for tonight's feature. As believe it or not, I have... Oh, there it is. Off to a good start here is Keith Kincaid. David Brill in the second position. Fighting off a hard-charging Greg Parmalee and Scott Tice. There inside as Brett McCoy brings out tonight's first caution of the evening in the left-hander chassis. Rapco Brakes number 1. Unfortunate. Starting off, continued bad luck here from last week at Hickory. Not what Brett wanted to see. Oh, hard hit into the inside wall, and that will be a early exit. It might be here for Brett McCoy. Going to take a quick look at the RD Ranch replay. Yeah, 3 wide with Sean McLean and Chris Farmer, and just got into the wall and had nowhere to go, just turned it straight. Ooh, insult to injury from Reinald there to bring out even more damage to that number 1 machine. As Gary Offit hits the pit lane along with Chris Hall. For your first caution here of the evening. Not what we wanted to see early on. Unfortunate for that Repco Brakes number 1. I believe, yeah, Brett McCoy currently in the pit lane still. Going to be a couple laps down here early on. Not what he wanted to see for sure. As Gary Offit leaves the pit lane. Thank you all for joining us right here on the DRN and allowing me to ramble on for an hour and a half, 2 hours for tonight's feature event. 35 laps on tap. Only 2 complete so far of racing laps. Not really going to say we are really racing under caution here, but it is what it is. Brett McCoy still on the pit lane. Only car involved in that accident if you are new here tonight or if you've just arrived. Going to take a look at the replay. Yeah, they were 3 wide there, and he taps Farmer a little bit, just goes straight. Just not what he wanted to see there, and Reinald, insult to injury, helps him out there. Brett McCoy brought out your first caution of the evening. As we are going to get back to the green flag once again. Green flag back in the air here for the Bristol Dirt Nationals. Huge blanket of cars. Scott Tice beating and banging off the side of Kyle Adams' machine. Slide job up the top for Chris Farmer. As Kyle Adams looks to do the same to Scott Tice. Not going to happen. Greg Parmalee alongside David Brill for that second spot. And Scott Tice loses it. Huge wreck for Tice. Brings out your second caution. Huge heavy damage on that number 24 machine for Scott Tice. As unfortunate for him. He's been battling some connection issues the last race or 2 or 3, couple weeks. Chris Farmer also involved in the accident. Brett McCoy just came back out on the racetrack 2 laps down. Gonna take his wave around here. Only a lap down now for McCoy. Gonna let the leaders by this time. Keith Kincaid led all the laps so far. Greg Parmalee in position number 2. David Brill for 3. Kyle Adams in 4th. Great run so far here tonight. John McLean in P5. Quinn McLean, the other J-Max machine, in the number 21 in position number 6. Position number 7 goes to the General Andy Patton. Rob Cassidy in the RD Ranch number 68 machine in position number 8. Russ Harold for 9. A bit of a new scheme this week here for Russ. Actually, never mind. From the back, it looked like a new paint scheme, but nice to have him out here. Out of New Kensington, Pennsylvania in the AARP number 19 machine. Running solid here. Tim McDowell in the Checkered Flag RC Raceway. TDR Media Checkered Flag Cafe Patents Triple X number 45 machine. Gary Offut in 11th at the moment. Chris Hall in position number 12. Chris Reinald currently on the pit lane, position number 15. Brett McCoy a lap down in position number 14. Chris Farmer currently in position number 15. And Scott Tice currently the only man out of the race here for tonight's feature event. Why don't we bring in Scott Tice here to the broadcast. As Scott, just bringing you in here a little bit. Can you tell us what happened there for that wreck? Scott, as we will check back in with Scott Tice a little later. Unfortunately, looks like he's a little frustrated about his accident there. To bring out your second caution of the night. Pace truck pulls down the pit lane. As we're going to go back, green flag racing once again. Keith Kincaid out to a strong lead. Greg Parmalee in second. David Brill cleared for third position. Sean McLean battling Kyle Adams for the fourth spot at the moment. 30 laps to go, 5 laps down. 3 wide for the fifth spot. Andy Patton going to clear for that spot. Looking to take some more. Kyle Adams trudges up the outside. Is going to go on board with Quinn McLean here, looking at a huge battle in front of him. 4 cars all under a blanket. Andy Patton, Kyle Adams, Sean McLean, and of course David Brill all under a blanket. Greg Parmalee just in front of them. Oh, big trouble here. Sean McLean, Kyle Adams in it. Quinn McLean scoots by as Kyle Adams and Sean McLean the wrong way around to bring out your third caution of tonight's 35-lap feature event right here on the DRN. As big trouble for Kyle Adams, unfortunately, on the raceway. Heavy right front body damage there for the number 9. As huge damage for that number 22 machine as well. As yeah, they were all under a blanket there. You really couldn't do much with that. As Sean looks to have came up a little bit and Kyle had nowhere to go. Just unfortunate for those 2 cars. Big thank you to RD Ranch for providing the replays here tonight for the feature event. As yeah, Sean McLean, just not his night tonight, of course. Let's take another look at it. As yeah, just looks to come up a little bit, and Kyle really had nowhere to go. Just unfortunate for the number 22 and the number 9 machine. Greg Parmalee currently second position for your third caution of tonight's event. Thank you all for tuning in for tonight's event right here on the DRN. Scott Tice currently the only race car out of the race here. Chris Farmer currently 2 laps down. Sean McLean a lap down. Brett McCoy also a lap down. Kyle Adams still somehow on the lead lap. Don't know how that came to be. But yeah, heavy right front damage for that number 9. Like I said, if you haven't already, visit www.racemrl.com/merch. Pick up your official Elite Seniors Racing Championship hats, shirts, and much more, as well as regular MRL shirts and shirts for other series that are part of the league partnership program. Green flag back in the air. David Brill, Greg Parmalee side by side on the restart. 27 laps to go. Keith Kincaid out to a fantastic lead here in the early going of the event. Yellow flag once again. out on the raceway. 26 laps in the books. 26 laps to go. My apologies. Russ Harold in the wreck here on the raceway, as Kyle Adams does not have a clean fender on that race car anymore. Sean McLean fixed up. Also still on the lead lap. Kyle Adams currently sitting in 11th position. Was running super well until he got into Sean McLean to bring out your third caution. As let's take a quick look at how that caution perspired. Here, Russ Harold was the caution car, and just comes up in a Rob Cassidy, and Rob just flips over, and Kyle just spun out, missed them barely. Great save here from Kyle Adams. Thank you, RD Ranch, for that fantastic camera work and fantastic replay in the replay booth here in the control tower. Unfortunate for Russ Harold, as he currently exits the pit lane. 1 lap down. 2 cars a lap down. 12 cars still on the lead lap in the feature. Unfortunate for that machine, as Kincaid and Parmalee double up this time by. Lights are out on the iRacing pace truck once again. Down the back straightaway for the last pace lap of this caution period. Coming to the green flag once again. Keith Kincaid fires off as we are green once again here in the Elite Dirt Late Model Tour. David Brill and Greg Parmalee shoot out side by side. Greg sneaks by. Andy Patton looking to do the same as well on David Brill. Tries the outside, going to try the inside this time by. Just following closely behind that number 88 machine, the 88 and the 87 doing battle here for that 4th position. For the 3rd spot. Gonna look to try it around the outside. David Brill looked to the inside of Greg Parmalee as they're catching up to Kincaid pretty quick. Greg Parmalee quick here as David Brill gets a little loose. Patton tries the bottom, not gonna work this time by. Quinn McLean maybe going to try the inside. Going to follow him around the top side this time is Quinn. As Parmalee was all over the back bumper of Kincaid. Here with 23 laps on left on the racetrack. As the battle is for 3rd at the moment. David Brill, Andy Patton for that 3rd spot. Quinn McLean catching up to him as well, and there's a ways back before you get to Gary Offlet in the number 94 machine. Kyle Adams making his way back through the field. Up a few spots since the initial restart. As coming to 18 laps to go this time by. David Brill and Andy Patton still battling for that third position, but Quinn McLean looks to go to the outside and take that fourth spot from Patton. Around the outside goes McLean. Will his fortunes be a little better to take down David Brill? Brill had a strong run in your season opener at Charlotte, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But 9/10 back, a second back from Keith Kincaid and Parmalee now. As Keith is just, you could really see how far ahead he is from the rest of the field. As Parmalee has a bit of a gap here, about a car length to David Brill. As Quinn McLean gets into the wall, gonna allow Andy Patton by, and huge hit into the outside wall. A wheel comes off onto the racetrack. Not sure if anybody is gonna hit it, but McLean, unfortunate. 3 tires. Was running so good and just unfortunate. Gonna stop in turns 3 and 4. Cannot go any farther. Yellow flag, your 5th caution of tonight's feature event. Involving the 21 race graphics J-Max Speed Shop number 21 of Quinn McLean. Gonna take a look at the Artie Ranch replay. Actually, let's take a look at the pass here for position number 3. As just it looks like he went up a little too high and going onto the backstretch and hit the wall and just went straight. Just nowhere for that number 21 to go other than the front stretch. Sorry, the backstretch wall. Just unfortunate for that machine. Was running so good tonight, and for him to just get it torn away from him like that, just unfortunate. As McLean currently a few laps down. Your 5th caution of the evening brought out by Quinn McLean on this last caution. Keith Kincaid still your leader. Greg Parmalee in 2nd. Slackamo himself. David Brill in 3rd. And the general Andy Patton rounds out your top 4. Gary Offut, another great run for that number 94 machine in position number 5. The Elite Dirt Late Model Tour, proudly presented by RaceEmerald.com. Right here on the DRN. As we are green once again. 9 laps to go on the board. As Keith Kincaid out to a 5/10 of a second lead. As David Brill to the inside of Greg Parmalee. Slide job on the bottom. Gonna clear him coming off the corner. David Brill. Oh, Patton and Parmalee nearly touch. They're battling for that 2nd position. I'm sorry, for the 3rd spot. I believe Patton still in the 4th spot. Chris Reinald and Sean McLean go run back to the top 5 area there for Sean. As David Brill takes home that second position at the moment. 10 laps to go on the board. David Brill and Greg Parmalee battle for that second spot as Keith Kincaid out to a 9/10 of a second lead. 8 laps to go. This time by for the number 17 machine. Can he go 6 for 6 on Monday nights? We will just have to see for that number 17 machine, or will David Brill be able to track him down? Looks like Sean McLean had a bit of an issue. Oh, heavy damage. It looks like Brett McCoy is in it as well. Lost his right front tire. Chris Reinald also heavy damage to that machine. As we're going to take a quick look here at what brought out this caution. I knew I heard some cars getting destroyed here as Reinald hit the wall and Sean McLean just came up on him and ooh, huge wreck, and Brett McCoy just had nowhere to go. Reinald went on top of the number 22 machine, and Sean was running so great. I was just talking about it. Just a destroyed race car now, crab walking to the pit lane. Not great for the 22. Only one car out of the race at the moment. That would be Scott Tice in position number 16. 3 cars in the pit lane. Chris Farmer, of course, still on the racetrack, but Brett McCoy in the pit lane getting his car serviced. Chris Reinald left the pits at the moment here. Gonna fix what damage he can. Crab walk in that machine. Sean McLean enters the pit lane for some much needed repairs to that machine. As just under 7 laps to go when we return to the restart for the Elite Dirt Late Model Tour. Kyle Adams heads to the pit lane. This time by. Maybe for some repairs, some fresh rubber, or fuel. Who knows here for Kyle Adams. As he missed his box. Actually, yep. Fresh rubber on the right side for Kyle Adams. Not sure if he's going to get both sides here. Yes, he will. 4 tires for the number 9. As Kyle Adams pulls off the pit lane. Brett McCoy also off the pit lane, following right behind him. Kyle Adams still on the lead lap in 10th position. Great run here for that number 9. Was running even better earlier in the night. Hopefully this repaired car will do him some good here with 8 laps to go. Thank you, Kyle, for enjoying some little Formula Drift here in the Dirt Late Models here at the Virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. As back to the green flag, David Brill and Keith Kincaid lead him to the green. Parmalee to the inside of David Brill. Reinald and Kyle Adams passing each other. Kyle Adams moves up to the 9th spot. As I believe he's to the inside of 8th position at the moment. Sorry, Chris Farmer is 2 laps down. My apologies. Quinn McLean looking to get to Rod Cassidy here. 3 laps to go on the board. David Brill out to a Sunday drive in second, but Keith Kincaid way far ahead of second position. 6/10 ahead, 7/10 ahead now. Kyle Adams plus passes Russell Harold for that 8th position on the raceway. As white flag in the air for Kincaid. Kincaid rounds turns 3 and 4. As we will get a 6 for 6. Keith Kincaid victorious at the Bristol Motor Speedway. David Brill for second. Greg Parmalee Slackamo for third. Andy Patton for fourth. Rob Cassidy fifth. Quinn McLean sixth. Tim McDowell strong finish in seventh. Kyle Adams eighth. Russ Harold ninth. Chris Hall 10th. Sean McLean 11th. Brett McCoy 1 lap down in 12th. 2 laps down is Chris Farmer in 13th. 14th, Chris Reinald. Gary Offutt 15th. And Scott Tice, unfortunately, out of the race early in 16th. As we will take a short break right here on the DRN, we'll be right back for Team Holloway Racing and Graphics Victory Lane, talking to all 3 of our top 3 finishers.
Team Holloway Racing Graphics is your one-stop vinyl shop. We specialize in RC racing of all scales. We do full-size race cars as well. Have a sign that needs done, vehicles lettered, we can do it. PT Speed Shop. We rebuild quarter-scale motors, break them in, dyno them, and get you back to victory lane. We have a parts store opening soon. Check it out at ptspeedshop.com. Check us out at teamholloway.com. We would love to take care of your vinyl needs.
As we talk to your first of the top 3 finishers, Greg, 3rd place tonight, not bad. You were running pretty good against David Brill, but I feel like nobody was able to really catch Keith again tonight.
Yeah, it's very challenging. It's a very tough track to pass, but it was a lot of fun. But it's fast and trying to see what the track's gonna do, move your line around a little bit. But I never did get it figured out. But anyway, ended up 3rd. I'm okay with that. Podium's always good.
Yeah, not a bad night for you overall, considering some of the other drivers' issues they had.
Yeah, we had quite a few yellows tonight. I was trying to. Dave got around me, and I was trying to battle him. Then I had Keith come up behind me, and it got a little dicey there toward the end.
Yeah, you got real close a little bit there at one point, chopping the nose off of Andy Patton when you were crossing over Brill, and I was like, ooh, it's going to be a good one. But you came close there.
I didn't realize he was that close.
Yeah, you were right on.
I should have looked, see where he's at, but I was too focused on David and Keith up there, and I didn't pay attention what was behind me. So, lesson learned, But hey, luckily I didn't take anybody out, and everybody made it through. And for the most part, we had a pretty good battle up front.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting battle here between you and David the whole race. Any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to thank for this 3rd place finish here tonight, Greg?
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast. Doing a great job. And MRL, Kyle for putting it on, and everybody involved, and Keith, and everybody behind the scenes, and all the MRL sponsors. Appreciate it. And like I said, we're a good group of guys, have a lot of fun. It's a good competitive bunch of old farts. So, good times. I look forward to it every week.
All right, well, that wraps up our little interview with you here tonight. Congratulations on your 3rd place finisher.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
as we talk to tonight's second place finisher. David, things got a little dicey there towards the end with you and Greg. Tell us about how your race went.
Yeah. Excuse me, the pre-race?
Tell us about how your race went.
I'm sorry, you broke up there.
All good, all good.
You know what? It was really good. You know what? It felt good. Track is hard to pass. Chasing Parmalee down there for second place. I could get on the inside of him, but just couldn't get the drive off the corner to get him. To get around him, and then we later on in the race there we got door to door there. Finally got around Greg, and it was a great race. I mean, it was so many different grooves you could run. You could kind of run one corner down mid to low, and then upper high or upper on the top. So it's just of course you're trying to chase Keith down too. So it was good. It was an all in all good race. I mean, it's great. Like I was telling Keith, rev therapy is sometimes the best therapy. So that's what I got tonight. I'm glad to be back.
Of course, a big welcome back to you as well. We said it earlier in the broadcast, but nice to have you back here tonight for Bristol. Yeah. Any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to shout out here for the second place finisher tonight?
Sure. I'm sure my son's watching out in Utah, and Ledger, Madden, Hendricks. They're the Brill Brothers Racing team out there. You guys could probably check it out on YouTube, Instagram, brillbrothersracing.com. So yeah, I thank those guys for watching. I thank my wife for putting up with the stuff I do. Rocky Ridge Labs and Rocky Ridge Farms as well. So need a shout out to Todd Holloway as well for all he does for the Victory Lane and all the great awards that he puts out for us racers. Appreciate you as well, Kyle Adams and everyone else that's involved with the MRL and the ESRC. So yeah, it was a great night. I was a little hesitant to race tonight, but like I say, rev therapy is sometimes the best therapy, and here I am. Just it's great for the mind, great for the body.
That is a very true statement. Congratulations on your second place finisher tonight, David.
Hey, appreciate it, Timmy. We'll maybe see you later on this week.
As, of course, once again, 6 for 6 here tonight. Making it 6 for 6 is your Todd Holloway Racing a Graphic Victory Lane here for the Bristol Dirt Nationals. It is Rocky Top, Keith Kincaid. Keith, you were on rails tonight, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Car felt really good. Kind of found a little short slider line there off the bottom that was working really well, and just used that to the end. There at the end, it was starting to give up a little bit, so kind of glad that we were only 35 laps tonight, or we would have had to hunt some new real estate on the track.
Yeah, David was talking a little bit about how it was super fun to, obviously he was talking to you about rev therapy and stuff like that, but him and Greg both expressed how fun it was to, change up lines and figure out how to get around one another. What was it like watching that battle in your mirror, if you will?
The more they battled, the better it looked to me. It made my job a lot easier if they were back there battling back and forth. Therefore, I guess it was about the midway of the race, Greg started putting a little pressure on me, and he kind of found a little bit and got a little nervous and changed up my line a little bit and found a little more grip. But, man, good racing tonight. Bristol's fun. This is the first time we've been here with the ESRC.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be back next season. We'll just have to see. Produce some great racing tonight. Any family, friends, sponsors you'd like to shout out for this victory here in Team Holloway Racing and Graphic Victory Lane?
Sure. I want to give a shout out to my parents if they're watching. I want to thank all of our wonderful sponsors, MRL, Ruck Offshore, RD Ranch, Wiley Raceway Slot Car Racing, Checker Flag RC Raceway in Kansas, and also Team Holloway Racing and Graphics for sponsoring our Victory Lane. Can't do it without those guys.
All right, well, this will wrap up our little conversation here tonight, Keith. Congratulations on your victory here at the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Thank you, Tim.
And with that, that will bring us to the conclusion of tonight's feature event at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. We thank you all for tuning in here tonight for the event. And we will see you next week, or I'm sorry, Wednesday night actually, at the virtual Martinsville Speedway for 100 laps on tap for the late model stocks. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm your host and lead announcer, Tim Dayton. Of course, not joined tonight by AJ Vassar, hopefully next Monday night. And we will see you on Wednesday for the late model stocks. Thank you all. Good night, everybody.